this duct, I'm just now looking at it. It came loose with me working on it, I guess. See? And there was duct tape on there, and see that they actually even put a sheet metal screw on there, and they only put one on there, and it didn't hold, did it? It popped right out. So that's something. I think I have some duct tape, some old duct tape. I'll have to duct tape that back on, put some screws on there. Usually, you know, guys will put 2 or 3 screws in there, but they only put one. See, there's nothing on that side, there's nothing on the top or the bottom. And that came out just from shaking it. And shaking it, you can see, where is the screw? Oh, the screw pulled out, the screw's still up there, but it was right there. Okay, and this really doesn't have anything in it anymore. It might have. See, it does have a little bit more left in it, and it's because the rat, he did most of his work on that bottom one, but then he took that offshoot, and I think there's stuff, no, there's a little bit in there, but I'm not taking that whole thing off. I don't really think I'm going to have too much of an issue with that other one. And so what to do about that? What can I do? I guess I could take that apart, and where it's up high. Whoopsie. Sorry about that. My nail bag hit the side of the handle. See, it's just held up there by that one strap. I can take that off. Make sure. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That Y came off too. See? And I didn't have that connected very well. So I'll have to reconnect that. No more, there's nothing else in here. So that's still going to end up living there. And I know how that hooks in. See, there's still just a little in there, and there's some in there all the way back to the ceiling fan, the exhaust fan. So maybe, since I have it disconnected, I can get some of it out. From here. Come on. Oh, hey. There's the flap. That is funny. Remember, I said that the flap was gone and maybe it was never installed. Well, here it is. Here's my flap right here. See? It hooked on this little tit in this one here, and it's got the little bend, and a rat chewed. Isn't that something? See, that flap was in there, and it was closed right where the the end was. So it was down, and it was in there. And in order to go through, he chewed right through it. That rat buster chewed right through it because the flap was down. He chewed through it and somehow dislodged it just enough, and it got caught up inside that pipe right there, and it was at that end, and it was fairly close. Wow, it was all the way in here. That's how far he pulled it back. It was right in this section here, right where the Y was. Remember, the Y's here. I've cut myself right on the screw, I guess, and that was hooked up there, and it was caught right up there, even though he dragged this through this pipe all the way up through there, up to here, even up over to this side, and then he left it in there to get it out of his way. Isn't that something? So I think, you know what? I think I can refashion this and put some duct tape over that, or a little piece of plastic, glue it on there, make it nice and round. It still has the two little tits on it. And then I think I can, I may have to pull this apart and rehook it in there where the flap was before, and reuse this flap. Isn't that something? And so that is good to know that I was able to do that and get it in there. Okay. Well, so far, so good. See the little tit on both ends, and then how it kind of tapers. That's the flapper that fits right in this end. It goes in right about in there. And so when the fan goes on, this flap goes open. And so I'll have to look at that and refashion that. I can fix it. I might just rewrap that all with some duct tape or something, or I don't know, we'll see. I've got a little piece of plastic or something I can cut and glue on there, or whatever. Then I can pull this apart and figure out exactly how to fit that flap back in there. But here's something else. See, they got the Y, and see at the Y, it tapers down, and they've taken a tool and they put it in there and crimp, put it in there and crimp. It crimps like three things, like boink, like that. And they do that around, depending which way they want this duct to go. Because the duct is here and it's going out this way, you want everything to be in there properly. So on the outside, see on the outside of this Y, where this duct went on there, it would have been simple just to overlap it and throw it in there, or crimp, like they crimped over here, crimp on here, but there's nothing. This one's flat. You can kind of see it's flat because this pipe is supposed to go on the inside of it, not the outside, because all your air, you want your air to go in and you want it to continue in there. So when this outside piece here goes on there, you want it, because the airflow is going to the left, you want this part to fit inside this next duct, and that's what they did. And so on this duct, when you cut the end off, it's just flat. So if you wanted it to go on the outside of something, you would cut a couple little slits on it, put it in, screw it, duct tape it, and everything. But what if you want it on the inside? Well, see what they've done here? They've used that special tool they have. And I used to have one when I did air conditioning. We did some for remodeling, and adding 1 or 2 air conditioning ducts to an existing system, or hey, we got to install an exhaust fan, and how are we going to get it ducted to the outside, and you got to figure out how to do it. Well, this little hand tool, you clamp on there, and there's fingers on it. A couple of the fingers go this way, a couple of the fingers go that way. So you put it on there, and that's what they did here. They put it on, and they crimped this, and they crimped that, and they crimped that, and they made it so that this 4-inch pipe would fit in to a 4-inch Y. They call that a Y, okay, like that, because it looks like a Y. And so they crimped that, so this pipe goes on the inside of this pipe. They should have crimped, and that goes on the inside, and we know it does, okay? And on this gets crimped, and this one goes on the outside instead of the inside. Do you see why? Because the airflow is going this direction. That's the proper way to do things. So at least they did that right. Okay. So I know next time I come back up in here, I'm going to need some duct tape, and I'll probably maybe I'll get some sheet metal screws too. I don't know. They're small little self-tapping sheet metal screws, are not self-tappers. Sometimes the tips just have a small little tip on that, and you can screw that in. And I might get that to put these back up there. But I mean, once these go in there and taped up and have it held up there, it's not going anywhere. It's just come apart now because I've been jerking on it and pulling on it and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So even if I didn't have any screws, I could put this all back together with some nice duct tape. Of course, I'll pull off all the old duct tape. And this one, like I said, I'll pull this duct tape off, fix that little plastic deal, and make sure I've got the flapper in there. And then I want to make sure that I visualize how this goes back on, and I want that flapper to be going the right direction, because that flapper, when I put that flapper in, it's going to need to go with the air sucking out. I want the flapper to go out. I don't want the flapper to be facing in. So that little bit that's kind of tweaked up, you know, see how it's kind of pushed up like that? That's going to be facing the opposite direction. That's going to be like when I get it in there, it's going to be like that. Wait. Yeah. It's going to be like that, I believe. So that it flaps down, and then when you turn the exhaust fan on and the air starts sucking in from the bathroom, it's going to push this. It's going to push this up like that, and then it's going to come down and flop down. This is just bent up so that it doesn't hit the bottom edge. You know what I mean? So I'll have to look at that and figure that out. But I'm kind of glad I found that, because I was already thinking of blaming the installers for leaving that out, because it's very easy to come up missing. So if you ever install an exhaust fan, make sure the flapper's working, and you tap on it and stuff, and you turn it on and it's working properly before you hook everything up. You know, you don't want to find out afterwards that the first time that goes up, it gets stuck into place or something. So there's a little tip for you if you're installing an exhaust fan for the first time. Okay, so now it'll be off to the store. Before I connect any of this stuff or anything like that, it's off to the store so I can get that that foundation vent material. And like I was saying, for the foundation vent material that comes in rolls, I don't need a whole roll. So I'll look at the store, and they have individual foundation vents or bird stop vents at the roof line or for the foundation line, and they have different sizes. I may just buy 1 or 2 of those, and then I'll cut the actual screen out of one of those foundation vents per se. Then I don't have to buy a huge roll of it, because I don't need very much. Okay, so I'll do that first, because I don't want to hook all this stuff up and then say, oh yeah, someday later on I'll I'll put the screen on. I can do that next month or whatever. Nothing doing. Do it now. You never know when the next rat wants to come back.